Today we're going to disassemble a ThinkCentre M57. So to open it, you have two buttons on the side. If you press these, you can open the cover and you can just pull this end up to reveal the motherboard. So first thing, we're going to remove the rear fan. You can just take it off and unplug the cable. Then for easy access to the rest of the cables, we can also just lift the PCI riser card up and put it aside. Then we start disconnecting the cables, temperature sensor, the SATA cable for the hard drive, the ID cable for the CD drive, and the connector for the front panel. Next, we can remove the 12-volt EPS cable for the CPU, and it's a bit more tricky. We can also disconnect the 20-pin ATX power supply cable from the motherboard. Next, we can remove the power supply. You will need a flathead screwdriver, and you can remove these three screws at the back. You can now simply slide the power supply to the front of the case and lift it out completely. You also have to remove these little clips from the cables and disconnect the power supply from the SATA drive. Remove the CPU cooler simply by lifting up this latch. It might be a bit more difficult if the CPU is sticking, but if you wiggle the cooler a bit and you pull on it, you can simply lift it up and disconnect the cable. We're also going to remove the cable from the front fan and the mono speaker at the front of the case. One of the great features of this case is that the motherboard tray is completely removable, so you can simply push against the motherboard and it will slide out completely at the back, giving you full access to the motherboard and making it easy to remove all the screws and removing the motherboard from the tray. To remove the motherboard, you have to remove these 4 screws with a flathead screwdriver, and these can also be removed with a flathead or a Phillips screwdriver. Now you can remove the heatsink bracket. And remove the motherboard from its tray. To remove the hard drive, you can simply pull this blue retainer like this. Same thing on the other side. And after removing the SATA cable, you can pull out the hard drive with the sled. Removing the CD drive is also fairly easy. You can push this clip sidewards and then you see this little thing pop out. You can pull it and remove the CD drive as a whole. You can then also remove the ID cable and remove this part which connects the CD drive with the ID cable. Simply removing these two screws.